it's another side that like wants to take more, wants to go that one more round, because like going that one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Welcome to another episode of One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. I am your host, and with me today, as always, is Katie and Kyle. Katie, how you doing?
I'm well, except I overdid it at a birthday celebration yesterday, so I am working with fewer brain cells. So good luck, guys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How are you guys?
Well, Kyle, are you operating on the same amount of brain cells?
Yes, probably fewer.
I'm doing fine. I don't drink anymore, especially because I'm on medication right now for, I don't mind saying it, it's for anti-anxiety medication. And it gives me incredible migraines if I take alcohol. Yeah. I'm dry, but I don't have anxiety. Yeah, it's actually, the medication has been very helpful. I've been on it for a couple months. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that it's helping.
It is, yeah. Okay, well, let's just get going. We've got some emails there, Katie.
Yes, and as I was mentioning to you guys, we had a really nice email last recording from a Spanish listener. We were referring to him as Jamie. I'm thinking it's probably Jaime. I realized that that's probably the Spanish version of his name.
Yeah, so if it's the Spanish version, Jaime,
Jaime.
I'm already saying it wrong. See, Jamie, I'm going to call you Jamie because that's the Anglophone way of saying it, but fair enough.
Yeah, so apologies if I said your name incorrectly. So this is from Simon. We have an email from Simon.
Our film
He says,
guy.
Yo, yes.
We still got to watch this movie. We will. Every time you email me, I got to keep saying that. Okay.
He says, another great episode. And your Facebook incident was why I didn't complete the hate mail quote on the YouTube video in case of flagging or deletion. Plus saying, go kill yourselves, even in jest, seems a bit of a dick move to say to you three. I'm a Brit and too polite to be that mean-spirited. It's true. Brits seem polite, as do Canadians.
Well, Brits are, they're polite, but their humor, which I love. I love British humor, like Monty Python, Ricky Gervais, that kind of humor. Mm-hmm. So they have a very kind of a dry, smart wit. The same goes for their insults. I'm like, did he just compliment me or is he insulted me? They're not as brazen or as in your face as maybe an American insult, but they'll still insult you.
Yeah. I getcha. He goes on to say, in relation to Rocky's reading and writing, as he struggles to spell Del Rio in the first and Shadow in Creed, he clearly hasn't advanced much over the years. I can't think of other examples of his grammar skills, though. Any others you can think of? I know he's more of a public speaker advertiser in part 3 and 4, but he seems to go back to a stumblebum in Balboa / Creeds.
I've always said that his bank account equals his grammar. If his finances are high, his grammar is high.
Yeah, money apparently makes you smart.
I actually like Rocky 3 and 4 kind of the least. It's partly because Rocky in those movies is not the Rocky we fell in love with in the first two parts.
Sure.
I think in make an attempt for him to get back that way, but it's kind of weird. And then in Rocky Balboa, it seems like it's a real callback to the original Rocky. And that's one of the reasons why I like that film so much.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that's why a lot of people had a hard time with Rocky 5. Of course, we'll get into that when we get to season 5. But Stallone went back to, he took himself back to the roots that 3 and 4 didn't have. But I think he just, to quote Tropic Thunder, he went full R-word.
Yes. The deleted scenes for 5 is like the full R-word.
I got to see that again. All right.
Oh, man. It is like you could tell why they're deleted. Like, it's not one of those deleted scenes where you're like, maybe they should have kept that. It's like you see that one and you're like, yeah, no, that's a good call.
I don't think I've seen the deleted scenes. I'll have to check that out. So Simon says then, when you get to the second montage, running with all of the kids at, it looks like an hour, 30, 51 seconds. Maybe he's referencing the exact time.
Yeah.
I think they may have done a double edit when he jumps over the benches. What do you think? I think there's only 2 benches, but edited to look like 3.
Oh.
It's possibly a second camera of the same jump and looks like a different angle, or maybe they did multiple takes of the same jump. I know I mentioned the double edit punch in the first film during the end of the 14th round, which looks like a similar edit trick. So look out for it when you get there and see what you think. Thanks again for the content and all the best, Simon. Thanks, Simon. It's nice to have somebody who has knowledge of filming. I probably wouldn't have noticed that, so we'll have to check it out.
I totally agree. Thank you, Simon. So we will look for the edit, and it's probably there. If he sees it, I bet you we'll see it now, and then we'll never be able to unsee it.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to see behind the curtain.
All right. Thank you, Simon. We will watch your movie one day. Quickly, before you move on to the YouTube comments from Donald, he said that rich Rocky can afford more books.
That's true. That's
He just
true.
forgets it once he loses his money.
That's right.
Like he has to be in close physical proximity to the books.
And then he goes on to say, here's some small Creed 3 news. Michael B. Jordan is hyped that there's a fight scene in Creed 3 rivaling the Creed 1 no-cut scene.
Oh, okay.
And then he goes on to say that when we did the Going the Distance podcast, when we covered the Creed films, we actually figured out where they would have done the cuts. There's a couple times where we caught where they could have done it.
Yeah, I don't think it was a single. I don't think so.
Okay.
Speaking of which, actually, a friend of mine texted me that Michael B. Jordan must have been on SNL. Was he on SNL last night?
Oh, maybe. I think I saw some thumbnails on that or something on the internet.
So I didn't see it. I didn't.
Well, I'm sure he was a comedic genius. He seems like a funny guy.
Yeah. A funny guy.
He's probably funnier than Eddie Murphy. I'm not going to make that call right now.
Possible.
Yeah, he probably is. All right. For the record, I'm going to watch Creed 3, but I'm doing it on streaming. It won't be in the theaters, that's all. And I think the 3 of us will do a standalone episode, like a full episode review of the movie. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. In March is when it comes out, yeah?
Well, I don't know when it streams, but I'm going to watch it on streaming.
Good point. A friend of mine actually does want to go to the theater to watch it, so I'll probably go to the theater.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, save your thoughts.
I will.
Okay.
It'll be hard, but I will. Okay. So we have 3 different episode comments from Andreas Wallars, likely mispronouncing your name, so apologies for that. From Rocky episode 10, he says, there's another reason Adrian might be hesitant in this scene, why you could say she was pressured into staying.
He puts his arm across the door.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit, we're really going back.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, people find our show all the time, and they find it at different times. Yeah.
So he says there's another reason that Adrian might be hesitant in this scene and why you could say she was pressured into staying. She would probably not be afraid for her safety because deep down she knows he's a decent man. But she could be concerned about what would happen between them if she doesn't stay. She enjoys him coming to see her at work every day. She likes being noticed, and she likes that he treats her as a person. Now, if she doesn't stay, is that going to change? Will he start ignoring her, not out of spite or anything, but maybe because he would be too embarrassed to keep courting her? So she might be afraid of losing her friend. That's an interesting take.
I had never considered that angle because we've been pretty cut and dry. Did he make her stay or not stay? That's probably the most balanced in the middle of the road answer, meaning she wants to be with him, but maybe at that point she felt a little bit rushed. She wasn't quite ready. But she knew that if she didn't stay, then maybe those visits at the pet shop wouldn't happen. Or the courtships, the daily jokes. And though she knew she wanted to be with Rocky, maybe just not that quickly. And she didn't want to ruin what they were going with. So she felt kind of trapped. The idea that, well, I kind of like how things are and I really like this guy. I guess here we go. She didn't want to lose what they were doing. And so there might have been a little bit of that. Because Rocky would have been embarrassed. I think it's a great call. I think exactly that's what... If she left at that moment, Rocky would have ceased courting her. Not out of meanness or spiteness, but out of like, oh, okay, I guess I can't even get Adrian. That's embarrassing.
This is enough. She's not into it. Yeah, I can see that.
They should have just talked more at the end of the day. They should have had a better conversation between the two. But I just like that's a good, not a spin, but that's a good, I never thought of it through those eyes. That was very interesting.
Agreed. His next comment was on Rocky 1, Episode 1.
I think it's Rocky 2. I think it's Rocky 2, Episode 1. My bad. I think I wrote it wrong.
Oh, that would make sense. That would make more sense. Yes.
I forgot the extra Roman numeral next. Okay.
Yes. So the Rocky 2 fight is absolutely my favorite fight of the franchise. Out of all of the fights, this one is more like a story of its own. Creed has more to prove than he had in the first fight. Rocky has more to lose as he now has a wife and child, and he's carrying more pressure and the hopes of Mickey and the people of his neighborhood. The fight choreography is a bit cartoonish compared to the others, but it's incredibly entertaining. Apollo showcases everything he's got, and you have the race for the ropes at the end, which makes some people cringe, but I love it. Oh, I didn't know people cringed at that.
Yeah, I never heard people, maybe his circle people. I've never heard cringe. I've always heard stressed out.
Yes, for sure.
It's fairly unrealistic. I think it actually, something like that has happened before in the history of boxing. I had to look it up, but I see how it would be cringy in the sense that you're like, it's hard to suspend your disbelief when watching that. I've never cringed at it either, though. I think the Rocky 2 fight, the way it went down is how it had to go down. I don't like the fight. It's not close. Apollo clearly won that fight and then was just an idiot at the end and screwed up and got knocked out.
Because he just had to go.
So,
he didn't have to stand toe to toe to win the fight. Yeah.
He outclassed Rocky big time that whole fight. And I'm cheering for Rocky. I want Rocky to win. Like, I found the first fight was kind of more competitive. That's why I like that fight a bit more. It makes sense why it's like that, though, because Apollo's giving it all he has. And Rocky's never really set out to be a better fighter than Apollo. Like, he has more heart than Apollo does. Like, he has more endurance. So, like, if I had to write it, I'd write it the same way. It's just, for that reason, it's not my favorite fight.
That's fair.
Makes sense.
I think I read somewhere, and Kyle, maybe you could tell us. Did I understand that because Apollo hit the canvas first, they aren't supposed to count Rocky as well?
According to the commentators, if neither gets up, it's a draw.
Right. But something to the effect or like Rocky had the last punch or that Apollo hit, because he hit them. It's his count, not Rocky's. The fact that Rocky's on the ground is irrelevant, apparently.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, it could be true. I have no idea.
Okay. So people who hear this episode, send us an email, let us know. I think Donald's typing right now. Donald's pretty knowledgeable of this stuff, so he's letting us know. Okay, so continue with the comments there. Well,
so the final comment is on Rocky 2, Episode 2. He says, love your podcast. Thinking about the proposal at the zoo. Yes, you said Sly admitted he just forgot about the insult, but if one wants Rocky the character to have a reason, I would say Rocky is bothered by people insulting him and giving him a hard time, as would anyone, but he still always follows his heart. And we know he's an animal lover and he likes the setting and everything. Perhaps he's thought about taking Adrian to the zoo many times. I don't think he would change the plan just because some guy he doesn't even like makes that insult. What I'm saying is I don't think the insult gave Rocky the idea, like, yeah, I'll take her to the zoo. I think he probably visits the zoo quite a lot. And now that he's with Adrian, he wanted to show her that part of himself. Kind of like when you're dating, you like to bring your date to all your favorite hangouts. That could be the reason. That's a solid reason.
yeah.
I agree. Did we say that? The reason Rocky took Adrian to the zoo is because Buddy made that comment?
I think that was one of the
It was like
theories.
a subconscious, like the zoo. Yeah, right?
Ownership, so to speak.
In the past, we theorized that that was kind of an inside joke by the producers, but then we found out through Ryan's connections that's not true, and then it was just a coincidence. Mm-hmm. If Ryan didn't have that information, I wouldn't believe that. Like, if someone just said that, I'd be like, no. Like, there's no way, but I guess it is.
But I like what's this fellow's name? Andreas. He's just saying, real life aside, sure, the Rocky character, this is the reason. So his reasons for the Rocky character doing this are sound. Again, a very sound insight.
I agree with him, totally.
Boy, he should be doing a podcast. I don't know why we do this podcast. These are very smart people with these comments.
It's our charisma.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they could be very bad on the mic. That could be it. Yeah, for sure. Regarding the Rocky 2 fight, Donald did say that Rocky would have been ruled a slip in real life.
Oh.
Okay.
So
What happens if you don't get up from a slip, though?
Donald, what happens if you don't get up? I guess if you trip yourself, it doesn't count, maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about boxing.
If you slip, it doesn't count as a knockdown. If you're fighting on a point system, there's a point, you get knocked down on the judge's scorecard. If you slip, then you wouldn't lose the point for it. But what I wonder is, say if I'm fighting and I slip, the other opponent's still standing, and I don't get up from that, what's the result of the fight? Is it a no contest? Is it a DQ? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be a knockout. I think what they might be saying is, say Rocky and Apollo both didn't get up. Apollo probably, if Rocky's fall was considered a slip, I don't think Apollo would get the knockout victory. They wouldn't say he won by knockout. It could have been either a no contest or just a draw or something like that.
Donald says, good question, Kyle. I don't know. So, all right, boy, these are solid questions. Hopefully someone can email us some answers on that. But in this situation, I guess Apollo fell down because he got hit last. He falls down. Rocky slips after that because he's so exhausted. His was a slip. They're counting Apollo. So Rocky didn't have to get up. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
I can't see Rocky winning that fight if he doesn't get up.
Interesting. Okay, that could be it too. Yeah,
and the average viewer of the movie is not like an expert in boxing, so I don't think they're meaning for people to understand slip. I think that's like way too far down a detailed situation. I think it's meant Rocky has to get up.
Like, for example, in boxing, another situation that's kind of a parallel. If the fight stopped because of a cut, for example, now it depends on how you got cut. So if you get cut because someone lands a punch on you, the fight stopped, then you lose by like technical knockout. However, you have an accidental headbutt and that causes a cut, and then you can't continue because the cut's too bad, then you don't lose that fight necessarily. I can't remember what they give you, but it's not a loss.
Yeah, it won't go against your record.
And so the intention of how you got that cut, so I think there might be a parallel to that in terms of if Rocky wouldn't have necessarily won or Apollo wouldn't have won the fight if Rocky went down because of a slip, but since he's the champ, he just retains his title anyway.
Okay. Louise is saying if you slip and injure yourself or knock yourself out, the fight can still be stopped because you're unable to continue. And Donald goes on to say that if the fight gets stopped on a technicality, does Rocky get a third fight? Well, thankfully that didn't happen. Rocky 3, we had Clubber.
I don't think he'd get a third fight, though, because I don't think Apollo had to give him a second fight either.
That was a revenge fight for Apollo.
It works differently now because there's like a bunch of different belts, right? And the rules are different for each one. And sometimes for certain belts, you have like mandatory challengers.
That makes sense.
You have to fight like the number one challenger or whoever. If you don't do it, then you lose your title. I don't think Rocky is a mandatory challenger in this case. So I don't think he's entitled to a third fight.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, I think that's it for nothing really in the Sly News world that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, well, let's just roll into the film. So Katie's favorite part's coming up.
Oh, God. I hate to bring it up, but I heard, so Pam Anderson's got a book out or maybe a special on Netflix or something.
No, it's a book.
I haven't seen it. There's been a fair amount in the news about, I mean, obviously you can about imagine some of the stories that she has about some famous people. It's basically that she states in her book that she was given an offer by Sly to be her number one girl, whatever that means.
Sure.
Basically, she'd have like a pretty easy life, but she declined because she said, well, does that mean there's others if I'm number one? And he's like, of course, of course. Did you guys hear that? See something like that?
Yeah. I saw the headline and and the Tim Allen one as well. She said that Tim Allen flashed himself on set. The comment was, I've seen you naked, now you see me naked, like on one of the first filming sequences of Home Improvement. And she was 23.
Oh, I forget about.
Yeah,
I forgot she was on that.
She's a tool-top girl.
Tim Allen is an ex-con, so
yeah.
Not a lot would surprise me about what he would do, and it's not surprising. I mean, Sly has even admitted. I mean, whenever this was,
probably 30 years ago. He probably was in his 40s. King of the world, yada yada yada. Before he married Jennifer.
Katie, I just gotta say, I think it's admirable that you make it through these meat scenes too. I was thinking about you the other day with that. Because there's certain things that trigger me and really bother me. Like there's certain ethical things in this world. I'm sympathetic towards it, but I probably don't feel as strongly as you do. But there's other things I feel strongly about. And then I was thinking, I'm like, man, that must be really hard for people like Katie who see people eat meat all the time, watch this thing with the slaughterhouse. So I think that's pretty admirable that you.
Well, thank you for recognizing that. Most people don't. We do get made fun of a lot, us vegans, but we care. It's because we really care. And it is hard to live in a world that seemingly doesn't. So thank you.
Do what makes you, I hate the term happy, but whatever gives you that clear conscience. And as long as it doesn't affect other people's lives, if you're trying to make the world a better place by doing your part, whether it's recycling, not eating meat, not smoking, whatever it is, I appreciate it. So I've always said I want everyone to live their beliefs as long as they appreciate it. As long as people don't do things that harm other people, and I know animals are being harmed, so it's a whole. I get that, but at the very least, we already have humans harming humans. So I guess there's a part of me is like, we can't even figure that out, Katie. Like we got humans harming humans.
Okay.
We're a barbaric species.
Yeah, we are. I know.
So thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
It's very sweet of him, and I agree. I'm the same way. So we're about to watch the The what I call the meat montage is coming up shortly here. Sly loves his montages.
He does. He does like a montage.
But before we get to the meat montage, we get to see Rocky come home from a long day at the meat factory talking to Adrian. So let's check it out.
Quick time!
See how hardworking he is, even after quitting time?
Can't see. We're also shown that he can't see or drive. It's both, maybe.
Well, what do you think it is? Do you think they showed that little sequence of him hitting the garbage can? And that's not the right eye, because he can... Oh, yeah. Wait. He's facing...
Yeah, it's his right eye.
Yeah, so he can't see the garbage can. Do you think it's because he can't drive, or is it to indicate he really can't see the garbage can?
I've always thought he can't see. What happens, too, is that when one of your eyes is messed up, it could affect your depth perception. For example, my daughter, we didn't find this out till... maybe she's 6 or something like that. But one of her eyes does not see nearly as well as the other. Her other eye was kind of compensating for that, but her depth perception was messed up. And we always thought she was just like a scaredy cat for not wanting to climb things and go down things and stuff like that. But in reality, her vision was impaired, and we just didn't know it. She could read from far away still and stuff, so we didn't realize that that's why. And so Rocky, if his one eye doesn't work as well as the other, that depth perception and seeing where that can is can be affected.
Oh, interesting.
For sure. Oh, good call.
Every time.
I think my brain cells are wearing
You want
my
to do it
lack
at the
of
end?
that.
We could do but I think people like to play at home, though. They like to play at home. Okay, trivia. So for the people listening, yes, it's funny because after that email read, I did the same thing. I don't think there's anything else. My brain's tickling my memory. Like, Ryan, you're supposed to do the trivia right after emails. Okay. Number 26. What is the pitcher's name in stickball? Little kid's name.
I assume it's a nickname, right?
I think so.
Yes.
That's what I'm writing down. Yeah.
If it's not the nickname, then the parents should be shot. What did Rocky say to Apollo when he went into his hospital room? Yo, Apollo, is there room in there for me?
Say it again. Sorry. Again, I'm a little slow this morning.
Okay, what did Rocky say to Apollo when he went to visit him at the hospital room?
Okay.
You know, opens the door. Yo, Apollo? Yeah, who is that? Yo, it's me, Rocky.
The entire dialogue?
No, I just mean probably the big line that he says. Okay. What are the 7? Wow. Oh, boy. Holy smokes. What are the 7 things Rocky wants to do with the money he'll get from the fight? Now I gotta write this down.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Okay.
Just take a second.
Gosh, I really wish I had more brain cells today.
Oh.
I got 3 so far. Just give me a second.
I got 4.
No, I got 4 too.
7 things. Oh, I got 5.
Oh my God, I only have 3 so far.
Shit, I only have 5. We should change it so like
whoever gets the most, gets the point.
Whoever gets the most gets the point. Okay.
I got 5.
What if we tie? Then if both of us get knocked down at the same time.
If there's a tie for highest, both people get the point. So right now I do have 5. Louise said, "LOL, 7 things you can't even count that high." 7, really? Okay.
Okay, 2 of them are really redundant, by the way. 2 of them refer to the same thing.
We'll let the judges decide. I got to beat Katie. She's in the lead.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to get this one.
What does Apollo Creed call Paulie at the press conference? I love that part. And last question, what is the joke that Rocky tells Adrian when they walk home from the pet store?
Oh, shit.
Okay, I've got the joke. I've got a joke. Now, no offense
Today
to Rocco. He was
day.
10 or 11 when he did this, and there was a couple times he's given us the wrong film with a question, but I'm going to say the joke that's in my head when we get to the answers, and that's the one I will go with. I don't know if it's the right film or not, but all right.
It's not my day. You guys are totally going to beat me.
Oh, I'm going to beat
I have
you
6
silly.
now, by the way. Pretty sure I got 6.
Oh, really? Wow, okay.
But on the 6th one, I'm a little shaky on. I'm not sure if it's in there, but I'm pretty sure.
All right, here we go. Rocky's hit the garbage cans, long day at work. Adrian comes out to see what the ruckus is about. Is that his only outfit, the new clothes that he bought? You know, it's funny. He's coming home from work. He's got the tiger jacket on, the hat, the gloves. He's even got the collar on his wrist. It's just kind of funny. The outfit that he bought during the shopping spree is the same outfit he wears home from a long day at work at the meat factory.
Well, it's all just accessories. He has a uniform. All his clothes are just black shirts and black pants. He probably has a number of those. And then this is just his...
I mostly wear black shirts, and I just have a bunch of them.
I wear a lot of black
Really?
shirts too. Yeah, I'm a black shirt guy too, especially in the summer. But then in the winter, I have a few hoodies, all the Under Armour, and so I kind of wear the same stuff too. So I'm the same way.
I have dress shirts.
Best looking thing I've seen all day.
I love that line. Sorry, he says, "There's the best looking thing I've seen all day." Well, that's fair.
Adrian, you're better than a bunch of dudes packing meat or cow carcasses.
Yeah, you're.
That's not the best compliment.
Yeah.
I know.
It's the best looking thing I've seen all day.
You look tired.
No, my face is tired. I feel okay.
You want to take a hot bath?
Oh, come on, I feel dynamic, honest.
I'm looking to change careers or jobs because I hate my current job. The reason I mention that, look at an office, not physically demanding. I hate being there, and I'll come home really tired at the end of the day. It's kind of like emotionally or mentally exhausting to kind of be somewhere you don't want to be and physically work really hard, right? Like you would say that training for a fight, a day of training would be a lot more work working in this meat place, which is still a lot of work, right? Like I'm not saying he doesn't work hard where he is, but I'm saying he's probably more tired as a result of he doesn't want to be there. Yeah.
It's like monotonous work.
I was just going to say when he says, "Oh, my face is tired," this is his way of saying I look tired because my face is tired, but I feel fine. But I think Kyle, actually, I don't know if Sly meant to write it this way as much as he's just kind of making a Rockyism type joke. But I think, interestingly enough, not worry about how Sly meant it. We're going to look at it as a piece of art. So my interpretation is that I agree with Kyle that he's depressed. His face is tired. His emotions are on his face. I hate my job. I hate my life. I can't believe I'm doing this. Because we know Rocky's strong. My goodness. He can climb mountains and jump benches. And so we know he's physically capable to do this meatpacking job. We got these schlubs like Paulie working there. So Rocky's more than capable. So yeah, he's tired. Because emotionally, he's depressed. But then Adrian offers a hot bath. My wife and I, we have a hot tub. And I'm telling you, we use that hot tub every day. And it really is a great relaxation tool.
I bet.
We love it.
Yeah. It sounds good right now. It's cold here.
We love the wintertime. We go to even the summertime because it's just it just feels nice. But I love the wintertime when you go out there because your feet are cold in the house. You jump in and it tingles your feet when you first jump. I don't know. All right. So she offers him a hot bath because he's been in a cold, freezer plant all day. So it's fair. And he's offering to go on a date the next day.
Tomorrow, I'm just thinking, work. Maybe after work I'll take you out. Want to do something nice, huh? Want to do that? I like to do that. How's your stomach? All right. You look great. You know that?
He uses stomach for pregnancy throughout. Like that is a consistent thing because is it Rocky Balboa? He's a pregnant hostess and he's always talking about
the baby's in the stomach. He thinks the baby is sharing space with the food she eats.
Yeah, it's just funny.
How's your stomach? You should say at least tummy or something, because the tummy is more about the whole system of pouch down there. But her stomach, it's an organ. The baby is not being born inside your stomach.
Yeah.
And he keeps complimenting her, like you look great. And it's just always a sweetheart. Now, here we go. We'll just play this montage the way through. I'm going to mute the music so it doesn't get blocked on YouTube. But we'll mute the music of the montage because there's no dialogue. But we'll talk to the meat montage.
It's all in our heads anyways. We all know this music.
What is that blanket they put over top the meat?
Yeah, somebody needs to tell us that. We inquired last time too. They're not wearing. Oh, he has gloves on here.
He does
but
have
I swear,
gloves on,
when he was doing some of the other things, when they're handling the meat, they don't seem to have gloves on, which is gross.
The cleaning of the grinds on the ground, that has to be a really bad job. And it looks like he's going nowhere with it. There's just meat everywhere, in the grates and the grill.
Yeah, he's not very methodical. Like there's meat behind him. Start at the end of the room and do like neat rows. Like, come on, man. He's hosing stuff off.
He's hosing the meat down. Yeah. So that meat that he's carrying right there. That's a large slab of meat. Also,
you know how hard it would be to have a meat packing plant like this and not be full of cockroaches and other insects and stuff like that? Because there's blood and flesh and stuff all over everywhere. You have to constantly be sanitizing and cleaning, or else that place would just be...
I'm sure this place is totally up to standard, up to code.
But even code allows for like a lot of stuff that you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's chocolate bar can have like 1.7 spiders in it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what the toilet looks like here at this place?
Yeah, no.
With all these men in the 70s.
Men are gross. Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably yellow and brown. And it's like...
Women could give us a run for our money, I'll tell you.
I've heard that too. I've heard that from women.
Yeah.
Just as well, this is a meat plant. They're saying there's no gloves. Can you imagine the doorknobs are dirty and the faucets and everyone's touching everything with the
It
rotten
probably
meat?
stinks and they're really bad.
Oh, terribly.
It stinks. This whole place stinks. Rocky's carrying this big carcass. Now look at the carcass. I've never noticed this before, but look at the carcass he's carrying. Sorry, Katie. I know this is the meat montage, but it looks like there's a brain on the carcass at the front. Now I got the volume up too, so we can hear the joke that they say.
Yeah, that is weird.
They just like old friends. Old friends never tasted this good. I heard that.
Old friends never tasted this good. But did you see that brain thing? What was that on there?
I didn't think it looked like a brain. It was just like
I know it's not a brain in that part of the body, but this is a bulbous organ looking thing. It was gross.
where it was hacked off from the other part of his or her body.
Yeah, a little mini meat montage there, and Rocky's going to be called over. And I've always got a kick out of how he holds that meat hook over his shoulder, because that's digging into his shoulder.
I've never noticed the meat hook at all
Yeah.
before.
Weird how he just digs that into his shoulder. Just before this scene, too, he throws a couple punches at the meat hanging. You see that? He goes boom, boom. A little nod, of course, the meat punching.
One minute, Frank. I gotta let you go.
Oh, come on. I'm working hard. I'm doing good.
You're real good, but we gotta cut back on manpower and you ain't got enough time in, you know? Seniority.
Listen, how about if I take a cut and pay, all right?
Can't do it. Union rules.
Can I finish out the day?
Sure. Rocky, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
How long do you guys think he has been working here?
Month, maybe 2.
Yeah.
We got to figure time has
Not
passed
long.
because Adrian's going to have the baby sometime in the future here. So, obviously. I think we're led to believe time has passed a little bit. The pregnancy's moved along. So, maybe as much as 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Union rules, seniority. I love how he says he'll take a cut and pay. And that's, you're not allowed to do that. I don't think you can do that at any place of business.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
Yeah,
can.
yeah. This place, thankfully, is a union.
And you could take a cut and pay if the union agrees to it.
Okay, fair enough.
That's how desperate he is, yeah.
Donald says that Rocky's a better man than Donald is for finishing out the day. Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Frank has been
it's hard.
nice to him, so he's not like pissed at Frank.
No, he's not mad at Frank.
Yeah, and it's a legit reason for getting rid of it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Seniority.
Like, there's cutbacks. You're the lowest on the totem pole. See you later.
So I guess the job openings opened up again because Paulie got his job back after the docks didn't work out.
True enough.
Yep.
So speaking of the docks, we got the scene now where Rocky's driving his...
You got more stories in the book. You know that? Oh, there's my brother-in-law Rocky. Give me the 5.
So you see a little bit of Paulie in action here as a collector. Telling the guy, you got more stories in a book, you know? Give me that 5. Really squeezing him for everything.
Yeah, he didn't bust his thumb either.
Too bad we never got a scene between Gazzo and Paulie. The job interview,
Yeah.
the first day on the job, Gazzo giving Paulie instructions, and Paulie's like, I don't sweat nobody from the dock. That don't bother me none, Gazzo. It would have been kind of fun to see a Paulie Gazzo scene.
Gazzo and that driver guy. Maybe the driver would like Paulie because they're both kind of dicks to people, but I could see them also really butting heads too.
There's my brother-in-law, Rocky.
My brother-in-law come to visit me. How
How
are
you doing? How's everything done? How's business? Okay.
Yeah. Looking over your old stomping ground.
Yeah. Listen, boy, you want to buy this car, you know?
I thought you liked it.
No, it's okay, but I don't need it no more. You know, I have a hard time making these right turns. My bad eye keep hitting trash cans.
Oh, there you go. He does mention that. I forgot about that, yeah.
You got problems at home? You need bread?
No, everything's okay. You know, this car would look great wrapped around you, you know, wouldn't it?
If you need a handout, I'll give you a handout.
No, I don't need no handout, boy. Look, you want to buy the car?
Shoot. Why don't you be smart and fight again?
First, Paulie's looking good. Looking sharp. Nice jacket on. He's dressed well. He seems to be a more successful collector than Rocky. Rocky seemed to be living hand to mouth when he was collecting. That shitty apartment, and he had old shitty clothes, and Paulie has lots of money for clothes. He could buy this car. He can offer handouts. Like, he's making bank doing this collecting job.
He's
like,
probably very good at it. Paulie's actually good at business. He knows about these
yeah,
things.
he is.
He really
So-
does. He makes a boatload on the meat sign. on his robe.
Paulie's not stupid. The thing I like about Rocky 3 and 4, they make Paulie seem like a total moron. He's really silly and stupid. The Paulie from the earlier films, especially in the first one, he's emotionally screwed up. Paulie is actually fairly shrewd in his own way.
Yeah, he's offering a handout. He's able to take the payments of the car off of Rocky. I think what it is, too, honestly, he's sober.
Yeah. Well, he's drinking lots of beers at the fight.
Well, that's kind of a fun night, though. You could argue that's just
That's fairly normal drinking.
Yes.
So, like, I don't think he's AA chip type of sober, but I think he's not self-medicating with alcohol.
Because remember, he'd always be drinking in the first Rocky film. He'd always...
Yeah, because he was miserable.
Yep.
And it's really tempting to do that if you're not happy.
So I think we're led to believe he drinks, but he's not drinking. He's sober here.
Yeah.
He talks to Rocky.
Yes.
He's clear. He's thin. He's got a snow cone in his hand. I think this indicates a snow cone.
Instead of the booze.
Instead of the booze. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and maybe that's how he lost the weight. Yeah.
He's exercising. Like, he's out walking around. And
Good point. Rockyism, I've always found it an interesting way to say, hey, you look good in this car. This car will look good wrapped around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just very Rocky.
That's a credit to Sly's writing. Yeah, you would look good in this car. That's probably what we'd say. Like, you would look good in this car. But this car would look good wrapped around. It's a great way of saying it. I totally agree. Paulie's pushing him. He's like, oh, no, do you want money? And he goes, why don't you fight again? That is the smart move. You want to make a quick buck? Just fight again.
And Paulie's not believing his bullshit, right? Because Rocky's denying that he needs money. He's just saying, oh, it's because I can't see well. And Paulie doesn't believe that for a second.
He knows. Yeah.
And not only that, he pushes the sister issue. And the problem is Paulie knows Rocky. Paulie knows Rocky is a fighter. Paulie knows that Rocky's a tough guy. And Paulie knows that Rocky's kind of wrapped around Adrian's finger. Paulie knows Adrian, and that's why he's saying, no, it's my sister. She won't let you fight. And that's why you want me to go talk to her? I'll smarten her up because she's stopping you from doing that what you're good at. So he knows what's going on. He's very clear on what's going on here.
That's okay. I don't need to fight no more. Listen, you want to buy the car? You want to pick up the payments and all that?
Okay, my sister giving you a hard time? You know, she usually break her teeth.
I appreciate the advice, boy, but I kind of like her teeth, you know, where they are. Okay? Here you go. You bought yourself a car. Good car, you know. Got to buckle up for safety and all that.
Where you going? You need a lift?
See you around.
There's a reason, too, they did it on the docks here. Rocky just gave his car up as a symbol of bought with his fight money, or at least maybe put a down payment on or something like that. He's walking on the docks. He must feel like he's right back where he started again. Everything that he accomplished last fight is now dwindled. Potentially even worse off than he was before, other than the fact that he's with Adrian.
Yeah, because he doesn't even have that job anymore. That's a really good point, Kyle.
And I love how Paulie offers the lift. And Rocky's feeling, and I get it, when you're kind of like depressed or sad or woe was me, he probably could use a lift, but he's even too, not ashamed, he's offered this car, the very car that he drove there is now being driven by the new owner.
Yeah, it's like a man thing. One thing women do way better than us, which I'm jealous of, is they support each other a lot more, especially like emotionally. Where men, you're not primed to go to other men for support that much. Well, you don't want people to see you're down. You want people to see you're in trouble, or you don't want to show anything that's like kind of like a sign of weakness. That's one reason why Rocky doesn't really want to say, oh, I have all these problems. He doesn't want to talk about it with anybody. He's just kind of bottling it up inside, and it's making it way worse.
I would hope that it's changing, but particularly at this time, yeah. To be a man meant the box was pretty specific about what a man is supposed to be like in the 70s, it seems. Hopefully that's changed a little bit.
A lot of guys don't go to their guy friends for stuff like that.
I love Paulie. He throws this snow cone to the ground. Boom.
What a litter bug.
Hey, say hi to your sister for me.
I do too.
Paulie says, say hi to your sister for me.
Hey, listen, if you two need the car, just ask.
If you need to borrow the car, just ask.
Paulie will never get any nicer than this.
No, that's peak Paulie there. So now we got Rocky down in the basement, not in the corner where the box bag was originally.
No, I ain't at work no more. I got canned today.
More stairs.
I don't know. I was, well, it's nobody's fault. They were just cutting back. It was economics.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I was thinking about fighting.
What about your eye? The doctor said you shouldn't fight anymore.
No. You recommended I don't fight, and I recommend that I do.
That's actually a very clever comeback, and it probably was a recommendation. I don't think it was an order. I think I think he's able to get a boxing license. I think at the end of the day, the doctor's saying, "Look, we can sign off on your boxing license. We recommend we don't, but it's not bad enough that you can't box." He's not completely blind in the eye, so that might be what the dialogue was. And Rocky's like, "Well, I recommend I do. I'm allowed to."
I think you're right, but what doesn't make sense to me is the little test Mickey does really makes it seem like Rocky could not see out of that eye. I don't know what tests they actually do to fighters. Hey, if you can't see something like right there by your face, you probably shouldn't be qualified to fight professionally.
He can see, but just not peripherally out of that eye.
Yeah.
I do love olden times, but I poke a lot of fun at it too. Like, some things are ridiculous. I don't know if the standards were that hard to clear in the 70s to have a boxing license. I'm sure it's changed.
Yeah, this is very interesting that this was written, of course, in 79, takes place in 76 or whatever. The idea that, they're being very, very strict about their protocols there where...
You go blind.
Nobody's going blind. Honest, I see great. I see like a beagle or something like that.
Right. Do beagles have good eyesight?
No, I love his ways of saying things. Beagles?
I think eagles see good. It rhymes with beagle.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to say. That's the actual phrase, right?
I love it.
I think beagles smell good, probably. Aren't they hunting dogs?
Well, they're a scent hound. Yeah.
Scent hound, yeah.
And he could have said like some sort of sight hound.
Eagle.
But no, eagle. He meant to say
And I know,
eagle.
again, Sly's writing that as a character, but that's what makes it funny, of course. I see like a beagle or something like that. So he's right. Something like that. It rhymes.
Yeah.
It rhymes with the proper animal.
Could be whatever you want to be. You don't have to fight anymore.
Well, I am a fighter, not too good, but that's what I do.
So Adrian, I think, has somewhat unrealistic expectations. She says you can be whatever you want to be, but we kind of see in the film that's not the case, right? Like, look, pal, you don't have a high school diploma, you have no relevant experience. His world of jobs he can take is fairly narrow, and as he learned from packing meat, it's going to be some labor job that he's miserable at. If I'm talking to Adrian in his spot, and to me, say getting a further education or something isn't on the table, I'd be like, look, I understand my eye's bad, but I'd rather risk going blind in my eye and fight and go down doing what I love doing than doing this bullshit.
Yeah, their communication skills as a couple are strange.
Well, they're newlyweds. They're figuring each other out.
Yeah.
They've only been dating / married about a year. Adrian's being, she's not yelling, she's not this, but now she's using, you gave me your word type thing. Let's go back.
Could be whatever
did
you want to be.
he?
You don't
I guess
have
we
to fight
assumed he
anymore.
did.
He just said he wouldn't fight, that's all. He's changed his mind.
I am a fighter, not too good, but that's what I do.
What's the difference between giving your word and changing your mind? You know what I mean by that? I don't mean vow breaking. I'm just talking about, this is what I said I was going to do, but then new information has entered my life, so now I'm changing my mind. You know what I mean by that? So new information has entered Rocky's life. He said he wasn't going to fight anymore, yes, when he had the contract with the commercials, when he had all these other opportunities, but things have changed in his life. So now he's like, I think I need to fight to get myself. So is he breaking his word?
Still breaking his word, but he has a reason for doing so.
But you know what I mean? But when you say you break your word, it's like...
There is a specific phrase, I give you my word, which is very serious if you say that to someone.
Yes.
Ryan, I give you my word that I'll never be late for another episode of Going the Distance ever again. Or not Going the Distance, sorry.
Whatever it is we're on. Whatever show we're on.
Whatever show, I won't be late trying to podcast ever again versus I won't be late. If you say the words, I give you my word, that is making a serious promise.
I don't know if Rocky ever said those words. I can't see him saying
Did not. You have to kind of just presume that he said that off camera.
Yeah.
Sure, it could have been an off-camera conversation, but I still don't see Rocky saying, Adrian, I give you my word.
I don't see that either. I think she's just saying that. I think
she's paraphrasing whatever.
Yeah, he says, "I won't fight.
I won't
anymore."
fight
Or if
again.
he-
I won't. I don't
if you
need to
say-
fight him.
I could him saying, "I promise," or like, "Rocky, are you gonna retire?" Yeah, Adrian, I'll retire. Promise? Give me your word? Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. He's still like so humble because he says, I'm a fighter, not too good.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you went the distance with the champion of the world. I think you are pretty good.
At the end of the day, though, you're in a marriage, right? And you want your marriage to go well. Even if, like, you gave your word or if it was just less of a promise, you still have to generally be on the same page about what you're doing. And a decision like this technically ultimately affects her, too, in the sense that if he goes blind, fully blind, for instance, Mickey's solution to this problem, as we all know, is for Rocky to fight right-handed. So his good eye is the one being hit by Apollo's jab this time, which is probably the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Like, hey, look, you have a bad eye. Let's make sure that eye doesn't get hurt as much, and let's make your one good eye another bad eye, so you can't see out of both eyes now.
My comeback to that, Kyle, would be, it is a good point, is that essentially I think that he's trying to save him from like a really devastating punch to the head that will permanently damage him, not necessarily just his eye, like his head, his whole everything, because he can't protect himself. He can't see it coming.
Yes, like there is merits to the fighting right-handed, but her concern specifically, you'll go blind.
Yeah.
This strategy that Mickey's doing is a surefire way. Him either legally blind or actually blind, right? And then he's a real liability at that point. Sure, he'll make a lot of money from the fight, but what I'm really trying to say is you get along with your spouse. If you go off and fight, your spouse is super pissed at you, your home life is going to be horrible. You got to basically find a way to make an agreement to work together or your marriage isn't going to last.
We're really smart people, women. She's thinking more long term. If you do go blind, then now what? You can't do anything.
I'm going to fight left-handed. I'm going to go blind in my eye, right eye, and I'm going to say, look, I'm going to get paid probably millions for this fight, unlike the last fight where I cleared 37 grand.
That's true.
I'm going to say, look, I'm going to sacrifice sight in my eye for this amount of money so we can have a future. Because I'd rather do that than work the rest of my life in a meat house. I could live with one eye. Lots of people do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it right now. Look around. For $35 million, I got it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't really thought of the fact that he'd get a big payday by doing it. Even if he is permanently injured, he wouldn't have to try and find a job after that. That's a good point.
Oh, Rocky, if you gave me your word you wouldn't fight anymore. I mean, if we need money, I could get a job.
How dare she say that? He's like offended.
Oh, sure. I can get my job back, part-time at the pet shop.
It's just showing the desperateness these people are in. He hasn't got hired at any job other than the meat factory, which he got laid off of. This kind of indicated he couldn't flip burgers at McDonald's or something. And then she's like, well, I'll go work part-time at the pet shop as a pregnant woman. I think that's part of the problem is that he's, oh my gosh, you should be resting. You're 2/3 or almost into your pregnancy at this point. And
pregnant wife has to go back to work, especially at this time where it's seen as the man support.
Yeah, it's the 70s, yeah.
That's a big hit. His identity being threatened at this point.
True.
Both his identity as a fighter and his identity as a man and a provider, everything is going down the drain for him at the moment. And on top of that, the baby on the way. Even if she does get her part-time job at the pet shop, that's only going to last till she has the baby, because she's not going to be able to do that with the baby.
There are so many things that I find troublesome with her getting a part-time job back at the pet shop. While he does nothing, if that's the only job that this household can get, why doesn't he do it?
It's assumed he has to try and get, in her worldview, still has to try and get another job. Like, she's like, you could be whatever you want to be. So she's saying he's employable, where he's not. He has no high school diploma, like, no experience, and this guy's 31. You're 31, and what do you have on your resume? You cannot put collecting at the docks for Gazo. You could put, I fought one big fight, and that's it. Like, you have nothing on your resume. On the other hand, his celebrity power probably can get him hired somewhere.
Clearly, it couldn't, because the one and only job he could get was via Polly as a favor.
Well, yeah.
And he got laid off.
Yeah. In real life, though, if you were like, hey, I'm this guy, if the employer there happens to be a boxing fan or something, yeah, I get to like work with Rocky Balboa. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I'm the one who's supposed to support.
It's just for a little while.
So what if you catch some pet shop disease or something?
There are no pet shop diseases, Rocky. I mean, I want to work.
It's actually not necessarily true. Funny enough, cat litter is actually very dangerous for pregnant women. And she cleans the cat cages. Gloria sends her down there.
They didn't
Gloria.
know that in the 70s or,
I didn't know that.
So Adrian's wrong. She's put herself at risk. Yeah, maybe she went to a coma because of the kitty litter, not because of Paul yelling at her.
You really want to do it?
Yeah.
No.
We need the money. Come in handy.
See, it sounds like here the money is still just a handy thing. They're not quite desperate. It'll come in handy. So
She's saying that to lighten. She's making it seem that. That's how I took it anyways. They are desperate, otherwise she wouldn't be doing it. But she's trying to make him feel better about it.
Being homeless really comes in handy, I find.
Yeah.
it's true.
Really, I don't know what you guys think of that, but
Oh, Louise, this was funny. He goes, damn, Rocky never gives a crap about his kid, even in the womb.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Maybe you're right, man. You know what's best. Could you start dinner? I'm starting to get a little hungry. I just want to finish my work out here, okay?
Sure.
No, you cook dinner, Rocky. I have the job now.
Yeah. She's the breadwinner. I love the sequence here of they're calmly talking. Rocky's like, you know best. He would never get mad at Adrian. Like, he would never, like, but the way he punches this bag, he is freaking pissed off right now. This is anger punching.
he's not mad at her. I don't think.
No. This is not about this.
He's frustrated,
The whole situation. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm in this situation right now.
Agreed.
Yeah. Let's just pretend right now that Rocky was in the exact same situation he's in right now, but he wasn't married. There's times in your life, I could do XYZ, but I can't because ABC, I'm married. You're not mad because you're married, but you're just saying, I can't do this right now because I'm married. And Rocky's in a situation right now. If he wasn't married to Adrian, they never met. He still fought Apollo because he picked his name out of a hat. And this all happened in the ring and all that stuff. He would be like, oh, well, I'll just fight Apollo again.
Actually, Ryan, I think marriage increases my opportunities. I would never think of doing anything like that whatsoever. And I don't think any other people should as well.
Is your wife, does she listen to the podcast?
If you only have yourself to worry about, it is different if other people are counting on you.
There's part of it's like, oh, I love my wife, I love Adrian, but the timing's wrong. Like, I wish I could be married to Adrian maybe 5 years from now. At this moment in time, he loves and respects his wife, but the fighter, that's what he knows. That's all I know, Adrian.
I know how he feels to a degree. Like, I'm looking at, just in the very, very early stages of looking at changing careers or doing something different. And it's very stressful in the sense that I have people I need to support.
Yeah,
That's what I can do, right?
Yeah.
I still have to earn an income. I have bills to pay. I have mouths to feed. It puts you in a tight spot for sure.
Yeah, I've stayed in the military longer than I want to. I don't care who's listening to this. I'm going to. I don't care. So I got some military friends listening to the show, or I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I'm sure there's a few of them that are in the same boat as you.
Yeah, of course. No, I've. It's got nothing to like. It's not who
Literally.
I am. It's not literally the same boat. I mean, like what I'm getting at is I would have had I not had kids. There's times in my career I would have quit earlier. I've been through some hard times mental health wise, and I would have left earlier, but I didn't to support my family. So I'm only in to support my family. I don't care who hears that. I mean, that's why I'm in. I'll do the best job I can do, but I got to support my family. So I get it. Anyway, so he's about to punch the bag here out of frustration and anger. Let's check it out one there.
Poor Rocky.
I know.
Good acting on
Yeah.
Fly's part. I think that's the really hard thing to do with acting is showing the correct emotions on your face. Because there's so many body language things. A lot of our communication is really nonverbal. He legitimately looks frustrated.
Yeah, it was great.
If this
It was
is some
great.
kind of documentary or biopic in some alternate universe where I don't know Rocky was a real person and they're showing
Right.
him like that, I would fully believe he feels frustrated.
No, you're right. It's good acting. It's not just punching. And Sly, he can really swat. You can see him punching that bag. It looks like he's hitting that bag pretty good.
No,
to me.
he has power. He's not weak, right?
Yeah.
He practices boxing a lot more than an average person. A pro boxer might be like, yeah, that's actually not that good. But even a lot of pro boxers have given Sly props.
I think
for
Sugar
his
Ray
boxing
has.
ability.
I think sure
Yeah.
Leonard has. I think he said that if Sly had chosen a different career, he could have been a very accomplished boxer.
Yeah, if Sly got in the ring with any of these guys, it's not his job.
No. He says that all the time. He's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think he has delusions. I do agree that if Sly decided to become like a middleweight or light heavyweight boxer in real life, he'd probably do fairly well.
I think he's as good as boxer as Tommy Morrison was an actor. I think it's probably the fair.
Perhaps. There was
I hope his wife doesn't listen. Wasn't she a listener?
Because you've interviewed her, right?
I don't think she listens, but I'm like, come on, is he a good actor? I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, right. Did you guys take note of the plants in the
basement?
background?
Yeah. That's cute.
I love them.
So we're going to stop there. That's a great discussion. You ready for the Rocky answers? Everyone playing at home? See if you got any of these right or wrong.
I hope I win the 7 items, though. Really crossing my fingers. I got 6. Not think of that 7th one.
Okay. Dang, 6 is good.
Yeah, 6 is good. If they're correct. If they're correct.
If they're correct. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so what is the pitcher's name in stickball?
Swifty?
Come on, Swifty.
That's right, Swifty.
If it said George or something, I'd be like, we're going to the tape.
Yeah.
What did Rocky say to Apollo when he went to the hospital room?
You give me your best.
Exactly. What are the 7 things?
I only have 3.
Okay.
Statue for the church.
That's the one I missed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I probably got the harder ones and the easy ones.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
That's okay. So statue, I got that.
That was the 7th one. Statue for the church, snow cone maker for Polly, and some quarts of perfume for Adrian. And some Muppet toys or something.
Yes, Muppets.
I got 5. The only thing I got that you didn't get was rent. He said I was going to pay the rent.
Okay. He says he's going to pay the mortgage. Then he says he's going to pay the rent.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then perfume, and then the Muppets, and some hats.
Hats for Mickey.
Hats.
For Mickey. Was it for Mickey or was it for...
Polly.
Was it for Polly as well?
No, I think just for himself, too.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying...
Here's the official's answers from Rocco. Perfume for Adrian. Muppet toys for the kid. Pay the house rent.
Yeah.
Hats in general. Oh, a motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah. A statue for the church and a snow cone for Polly. Okay, good job.
How many did you each get? 5?
Kyle got the most right, so he's the only one that gets the point. We said whoever gets the most right gets the point. Yep. So, yeah, okay.
Right. And you got 6
I got
of them,
5 of the 7. Kyle got 6.
Well,
He missed a motorcycle.
You know what? It depends. I'm tied with Ryan, or I have one ahead, because I listed mortgage and rent as separate things.
No, he counts them as the same.
Okay, so then Ryan, we're tied for 5.
Okay.
Then.
Oh, yay. Sweet. All right.
You both get the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we need to catch up to you, Katie. So, what does Apollo Creed call Polly at the press conference?
Al Capone.
Al Capone.
Like, who's that? Al Capone?
Who's that? Al Capone. And then Polly says, I don't sweat you. And then lastly, so what is the joke that Rocky tells Adrian when they walk home from the pet store? The only joke I can remember when they walk out of the pet store together is, why do cows wear bells? Because their horns don't work.
I was thinking that the cows wear bells thing also. So I
It's
wonder
in part
if it really
2.
isn't 2.
It isn't 2. He's wearing the black stuff. I remember it very much. It was daylight. Why do the cows wear bells? That was the answer. 5 for 5 for Ryan.
Good job, you guys. I only got 3 out of 5.
Did you get the joke, Kyle?
I'll let you decide if I got it. That's what I thought, but I didn't physically write it down.
No, that's fine. I don't write mine down either.
Okay.
Just because I'm doing the reading, the writing. I do honor system.
Okay,
So if that was the joke you thought of.
Yeah.
No, the joke he says in 5 is...
You can't tune a piano, but you can
yes,
tune a fish.
there's that one. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of our episode. Remember to join my Patreon to see the Tulsa King reaction reviews that are on Patreon. Also, to supports the feed of the Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. Yeah, send us an email, comment on our YouTube, all that good stuff. We appreciate the support from all our listeners. But with that, the episode is over.
I didn't hear no bell.